okay?
Dad?
You okay?
Dad, I can't hear.
Come here.
I can't hear. Get out of here. Please get out of here.
Oh my God.
Please get out of here. Please get out of here. Oh my God. Dad, please get out of here. I can't
Chloe.
hear. I can't hear
Oh,
anything.
shit.
I can't hear anything.
Oh my God.
God almighty damn. God damn. Oh my Lord.
That blast at a fertiliser plant in Waco, Texas in April of 2013 killed 15 people and injured 160. Now, it was caused by ammonium nitrate, the very same chemical which obliterated half of Beirut. The cargo behind yesterday's mega blast was seized from a Russian ship 6 years ago. Hundreds are feared dead and 300,000 are now homeless. Hello, my name is Julie Snook and welcome to 9 News Watch. The obvious dangers of ammonium nitrate have concentrated minds here in Australia on what is being stored in our ports, particularly in Newcastle in New South Wales. 9's Charles Croucher has more.
Julie, that chemical compound is ammonium nitrate. There were large stores of it at Beirut yesterday that caused that explosion. We have large stores of it here in Australia. In particular, there's concern near Stockton. That's north of Newcastle, which is north of Sydney in New South Wales. They store around 3 to 4 times the ammonium nitrate at the Orica facility there than we saw yesterday in Beirut. Now, Orica point out that you have to be extremely negligent with ammonium nitrate to see an explosion like we saw yesterday. They also point to the vastly higher standards when it comes to safety protocols here in Australia. But yesterday wasn't the first time we've seen explosions linked to ammonium nitrate. There was one decades ago in Texas City in Texas in the United States that caused a huge explosion, 500 dead at the docks of that city. It was also then used for terror in the Oklahoma City bombing in the 90s, and then in Waco, which we saw a little earlier, causing that huge explosion. Tony Richards has worked with explosives for decades. He spoke to us about what a blast here in Australia would look like.
If in fact the stockpile at Newcastle was to go off, the people in Sydney would say, good God, what was that? And the answer will be, it used to be Newcastle.
Now, the company, regulators and even those in the environmental lobby say this is highly unlikely here in Australia. Our standards of safety and scrutiny are so much higher than you see almost anywhere around the world, and they say that will keep us safe and will also prevent a tragedy like we saw yesterday in Beirut.
Charles Croucher there, thank you. Well, the full extent and horror of the deadly explosion in Beirut is still unfolding. The death toll will not be known for some time. A number of local officials are under house arrest as angry residents blame corruption, neglect and mismanagement. Meantime, more incredible vision revealing the stories it continues to emerge. A man filming in hospital. Take a look at this. His wife just about to give birth when chaos erupted. Just so frightening. As the search for the missing steps up, there are extraordinary moments as well. This little girl buried in the concrete, pulled to safety by bare hands. While this 4-day-old baby is fighting for her life, her parents shielded her as the blast hit. They have all suffered injuries. OK, let's take you home now to Victoria, and Premier Daniel Andrews insists he will take the rap for any mistakes which has seen COVID surge in Victoria as the first day of a new 6-week lockdown kicked in. Prime Minister Scott Morrison revealed today the state's new restrictions would cost the entire country $12 billion. Victoria has recorded 471 new cases and 8 deaths, including 2 men aged in their 60s. 4 of those deaths relate to aged care. Now, the Premier, meantime, enjoyed a media grilling over the botched hotel quarantine program.
I'm accountable for any mistakes and all mistakes that are made. I've never shirked that responsibility. I've never moved so much as an inch away from that responsibility. That is the role that I have. I will own those errors. I will be accountable for those errors.
In other COVID news, and there will be a boost in mental health support services across the country, with the PM announcing $12 million in additional funding for Headspace, the Kids Helpline, Beyond Blue and Lifeline. There's no special treatment for Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt, who will be entering 14 days isolation this weekend, so he can return to Parliament in Canberra later this month. The New South Wales Premier has asked young people in particular to slow down on their socialising after one young man visited 7 different venues in Sydney's inner west last weekend, and of course he has now returned a positive test. This comes as 12 new cases were reported in the state. 2 sources unknown, including the case of a high school student in Newcastle. Fans who attended Sunday's A-League clash between the Newcastle Jets and Western United at McDonald Jones Stadium are also advised to monitor for symptoms after a man in his 20s who was at the match tested positive. Overseas, and 8 COVID patients at a hospital in Western India died when a fire broke out in the intensive care ward. Taking a look at the day's other news now, and there have been more terrifying scenes in the Middle East. A monstrous blaze inside a market in the United Arab Emirates, turning the skies black with smoke. Take a look at that. Dozens of firefighters were called in from neighbouring regions to fight the flames, which took hold inside a new industrial area around 50 kilometres from Dubai. A top cyclist is fighting for life after an horrific crash on the final stretch of the Tour of Poland. As the riders charge for the line on stage 1, Fabio Jakobsen can be seen vying for the lead. He's the furthest left as we take a look at that screen, but the 23-year-old Dutchman is edged too close to the barriers and collides with it, sending the advertising hoardings and metal fence flying. Other cyclists are brought down in the carnage. It's only lucky the crowd was set back from the course. Jacobsen sustained head and chest injuries and is in a serious condition. On a much lighter note now, an Italian museum has released footage of a tourist who has managed to wreck a 200-year-old sculpture while posing for a photo. The 50-year-old Austrian took a seat beside the famous life-size white marble artwork of a nobleman portraying Venus and promptly snapped off 3 of her toes. Now, he gets up, inspects the damage and wanders around nonchalantly. He didn't alert curators but was caught. When they inspected the detail, visitors are obliged to fill in to comply with COVID rules. That's right, COVID caught him out this time round. And Instagram has launched its version of social media sensation TikTok in Australia today. It's called Reels. It is all about short, mobile-friendly videos set to music. It's been called a copycat product by TikTok, but it's Mark Zuckerberg's attempt to capitalise on the millions of Instagram users he already has. Can you believe it? 9.5 million of us here in Australia use Instagram alone, and I certainly know our producer is going to be on board that one. Well, it is like the scene from a war movie. A lady plays Auld Lang Syne on the piano while all around lies utter destruction and devastation. So much sorrow in Beirut right now, but a tiny, much needed glimmer of hope. How incredibly bittersweet. Thank you so much for joining us on 9 News Watch for another day. We're back again tomorrow from 5:30 p.m. I'm Julie Snook, and I'll see you then.